Please go live అండి.
Charan.
Good evening, good morning, namaste to all the Utsahins witnessing our session today. I'm glad to welcome you all to the second topic of Utsahin, the educating minds, for the discussion on the practice of health and hygiene in education. Healthy children will not fear life. If we could have one generation of properly born, trained, educated, and healthy children, 1,000 other problems of society would vanish. Among the most sacred gifts you can give your child is the gift of health. That is the reason this topic of practice of health and hygiene in education is being chosen. So this wonderful session would help us learn, think, and inspire the generations to be healthy and great. We have two segments in today's meeting. The discussion on the topic is the one, and the second one, the Inspirational Talks by Utsahins. So without any ado, let me welcome our today's eminent speakers of the day. Firstly, I would like to welcome Dr. G.C. Kavita Garu, who is known as the Happiness Woman. She is a motivational speaker, conferred with Dhasu Vimenya 2019 by Niti Aayog, an enthusiastic, skilled counseling psychologist, a teacher trainer, psychometric test professional, and psychotherapist. Dr. Kavita Garu is deeply interested in safeguarding and promoting the welfare of mental well-being of vulnerable, stress-prone adults and teens. She has got more than a decade of experience of counseling children and adults from normal and differently abled backgrounds, both in India and Middle East. She holds honorary positions of National Coordinator of Wellness for India, Central Team, COVID Action Network, Central Team Member for Yuva for Atmanirbhar Bharat, and Executive Director, Center for Positive Learning, CPL. She is a social service professional, active about women and child empowerment, who has played in all genres of music and dance, heritage and cultural aspects. She is known for her motivational talks to students, teachers, and staff on various aspects of positive living and learning. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
We have our second speaker of the day, Khadir Khan Garu. He holds the position of Academic Head of Green Valley Group of Educational Institutions, Pernambuc, Tamil Nadu. He has been the NEET Bio Head of the Department at Rajiv Gandhi International, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Academic Coordinator at Vidyalakshmi Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Gudivatam for 7 years, and Counselor and Trainer for Teachers, Science and English at CII Institutions, Salem. His goal of life is education should reach society globally. He is passionate about sharing his knowledge with anyone who seeks it. He is willing to make any contribution that helps our country better in the fields of education for the betterment of students. He has been the counselor and trainer for teachers for 9 years. On the whole, he has been into education for the past 18 years. Thank you, Kadir sir, for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving an opportunity, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our third speaker, Ms. Prajita Garu, all the way from God's own country, Kerala. A nursing graduate having decades of experience in nursing service. Through her efforts of providing quality care, she rose to the position of a nursing trainer, guiding upcoming nursing professionals. She is presently the tutor in a leading nursing college in Calicut. She helps the students develop the leadership skills, attain standard levels of service, and maintain quality service to ensure optimal health and quality of life. And very interesting point about her is she is a professional dancer too. Thank you, Prajita ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
I would also especially welcome our speakers for Inspirational Talks today, Mr. Ashok Reddy Garu and Mrs. Prasanna Garu. I would also proudly welcome Ram Reddy sir and Raghuram sir and all the members of Utsahin. Now the time has come to start our main segment, and to facilitate the discussion, I would like to welcome Mr. Anirban Paul. Sir, the control is yours.
Thank you, Charan, for briefly introducing our speakers as well as introducing the event. Like every event, we always begin an event with our prayers and obedience. The day's highlight today is the intellectual and ideation discussions that our platform Utsahin provides for. And the theme for today is the practice of health and hygiene in education. A deliberation by the execution team led to the decision of discussing the practicality of health and hygiene to be brought forth and proliferated in the society by inspiring ideas in every sphere of life, right from primary schools to healthcare institutions and professionals. In specific, we had the theme chosen with a special tagline, health brings happiness. What better could be the idea of ensuring that every one of us work unto the health and hygiene of our own selves, our families, and our society and our nation at large. Thus, this tagline was decided, and the team brought forth a set of orientation questions that were notified to eminent speakers in various spheres of life, in particular buckets, to ensure that the concerns of each speaker were separate in their talk. In this regard, we identified speakers from three different segments of daily life: a medical professional, a nursing professional, and a high school teacher, to cover different aspects of education in which health and hygiene can be touched upon in society. So without further ado, come, let's hear from our theme speakers of the day and get ourselves enlightened with the ideas and viewpoints of each of these three different speakers on the aspects of health and hygiene that should be our focus for the day. What's more, all our speakers, as introduced, are not only eminently professional in their own right, but they're also artists. Let me invite Dr. G.C. Kavita, a prolific speaker, felicitated in 2019 by Niti Aayog, also known as the Happiness Woman, and a psychoanalyst, who will bring forth the importance of happiness and good mental health, along with multiple dimensions that health and hygiene bring us. Over to you, Dr. Kavita.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ranirban, for your kind introduction. And that's, a wonderful evening to all the speakers, delegates, and participants here. It's really such a wonderful pleasure to be amongst you all. Before I really start my talk, I think I'll start with a small example. Each one of you can imagine the situation, and I'm sure that most of you would be with me on what I'm going to talk. You wake up in the morning around 5 o'clock and then just get into your balcony and to see, to feel the fragrance of the beautiful flowers from your balcony. Happen to see the birds chirping in the sky with such a beautiful nature all around you. And then your kid or someone, your pet or someone comes and, touches you, and there is a feeling of that softness, that feeling of that feeling of a something coming near you. And then you make coffee for yourself or tea for yourself, that wonderful aroma, that when you're brewing the coffee, the wonderful aroma that comes in, it really tips off for the day. You get your coffee onto your table and then put that coffee cup on your table, and then you're trying to take out something else, you happen to slip this cup off from the table and it falls down, and then that's it. The whole coffee is gone. So if I have to ask somebody here, what is your day going to be? How is your day going to be? Or if someone asks you, how has your day started? I'm sure most of you would definitely agree with me that you would say that you made lovely coffee for you in the morning and it happened to spill, and then the spill is all over the place and it has taken a lot of your regular time. This is what happens to most of us. One of the biggest reasons why we really don't find happiness in our lives is that your mind has failed to forgot or notice the fact that you've been getting the wonderful fragrance of the flowers from your balcony, or you happen to see the wonderful nature around you, or you happen to hear the beautiful chirping of the birds, or you happen to really see your pup, or someone coming and cuddling you, and you forgot all those good things that has happened to you in the morning. One incident of the coffee spilling over and then giving you some work dominates your mind. So I think I'll start my talk from here. We have a problem. Our brains are hardwired to really have a bigger aspect of a negative thing, which is called the negativity bias. Most of our problems, most of the issues with any person, with any professional, with anybody starts from here. We do have a problem looking at, we do have a bigger sense, or we do have, I would say, a binocular lens of looking at problems and seeing them in a very, very big way. The biggest hurdle for a person to feel mentally healthy, or to feel or to derive the happiness out on day-to-day life, the biggest problem is this negativity bias. So it's time now that we tend to become consciously aware that, are we really looking at one small thing, or are we really valuing one small mistake that has happened? Are we really valuing so many beautiful things in our lives that are happening on day-to-day basis? If we have to really notice, consciously notice, and then make a note of the things, probably on a paper, we would definitely understand that. If you really write down so many things, you would note that using all your five senses, the number of happiness, the number of happy moments that you derive in a particular day are far, far, far more than the small incidents that have really disturbed you. But because of the negativity bias, we tend to look at the small things and then blow it out of proportion, and then look at our day as a bad day, or another day which we didn't actually expect. So as teachers, probably coming to my next thought process in the talk, as teachers, most of the times, we do have a tendency to tell children, to be judgmental on the children, to tell them that you are like, because I remember, I happened to go to attend a PTA meeting, and then the class teacher of my daughter, she happens to tell me that, no, she's very good at English, and that is nice to hear as a parent. And then she said, no, she's not so good at math. And I said, which chapter in math she's bad? Which particular concept in which chapter she's bad? And which particular kind of problem in that particular concept in that particular chapter she's bad? Can you please tell me that? Because nobody can be really bad. If somebody is really bad at something, then the whole score on the paper should have been 0. When a child has achieved certain marks on a paper, it means that the child is good at something. But as teachers, as people, as human beings, we do have a tendency to really talk in a very judgmental way, to pass on the judgmental comments on a child and reduce the self-esteem, self-efficacy, sense of worth of the child. I know many children, being a counselor, I happen to see many a times that when a parent comes to me, the parent says that my child is bad at this, my child doesn't like this, my child doesn't want to do this, all this negative connotations on a particular subject. But I have to really get back into it. Does the child really know that the child is bad at something, or does the child know he is bad because somebody has said the child is bad at something? So I think as teachers, it's high time that we need to think about what kind of talk are we giving to the children, and what kind of judgments are we passing on the child. Because the mental health of a child is purely dependent on that. Why do I put a mental health, such a big term, such a big terminology, for a small thing like this? You might really wonder. But let me tell you, the sense of worth, the personality of the child, the self-efficacy of the child, and self-esteem of the child is what is going to really make the personality of the child. if we are not really able to bring it up as people who are creating generations, if you are really not able to give that kind of positive self-esteem to a child as creators of generations, I don't think we are definitely doing the right job. The talk, the second most important thing. First, we don't think bad. That is the first thing we have to understand. The no negativity bias. Let us start becoming pretty conscious of what are the various positive things that are happening in their life. The second thing is like, let us never, ever, ever be judgmental on the child when we are talking about a child's performance somewhere. Let us never, ever. And if you feel you have a right to talk, have that concept with you wherein you are in a position to say that child is bad in so and so subject in this chapter, in this concept, in this type of a problem or in this type of problem. You should have a thorough analysis to that extent. If you really don't have that, never ever evaluate a child stating that the child is bad at something, because this is eventually going to give a very bad personality to the child. And children who come to me, when I ask them, like, why did you pick out science? They say they hate math. I said, because you hate something, you cannot pick something. To pick something, you need to like something. Because I hate something, so I pick something. That is not the way life goes. And most of the cases, the life moves on that way. There are 2 options given to you or 3 options given to you. Because you hate 2 things, so you choose another one. So I don't think we should ever encourage as instructors, as facilitators, that, because child, give the positive self-esteem to the child, make a child feel good. I'll give you an example here. I happened to visit a school in US at some point of time. I've seen the teacher, having a board and then making questions. The teacher was asking the students, now come on, ask me a few questions. The children were asking a lot of questions and the teacher was not responding. The teacher was just making a note of all the questions on the blackboard. I was just very casually, just observing. That was the end of the school session, the day session, in fact. Then after the session was done, I just went to the teacher and I asked the teacher, like, you knew the answers, then why didn't you tell? Why didn't you tell? You'll be surprised to hear this from the teacher. The teacher said that I want the child to be a winner by asking questions, feeling that the teacher, such an educated person, could not answer my question. So this is exactly what happens. So try to, as teachers, as people, it becomes the most important aspect for each and every one of us as educators to see that we are increasing the self-esteem of a child, we are increasing the sense of worth of a child, and we are increasing the self-efficacy of a child. As a teacher, if you feel you have to give an evaluation, you have to assess the child on certain things, let me be very honest with you, try to be at the deepest level wherein you are talking about the micro level of what the child does. And no, don't generalize stating that. Because as a person, for me, if someone says I'm bad at something, it is easy for me to conquer. If I say I'm bad at math, I'm gone. That's it. Because the whole universe is standing right in front of me. I cannot really conquer that. So the whole ideology of my talk is like, try to see that the problem, you make a macro problem into a micro problem. See that the problem the child is in a position to solve. See that you are increasing the self-esteem of the child. The mental health, the happiness of the child definitely depends upon when you make a child realize that the child is worth something, the child has achieved something. There is so much that the child has achieved in the past so many years that when the child turns back to see, that child feels, wow, I have achieved so much in life. By passing a judgmental statement, the whole pathway what the child has achieved all through the years, you are just stamping and then only giving a bigger picture right in front of the child. So let us never do that. That is my humble request to all the educationalists, to all the parents, even to the parents, because parents shouldn't say, don't, let us not be judgmental. Let us not be judgmental. If you can talk, be specific. If you cannot be specific, don't talk. Very simple. I think I would love to end my talk with that. So I think it's our responsibility as teachers, as educators, as trainers, as parents to see that we increase the self-esteem of a child, we increase the sense of worth of a child, we increase the self-efficacy of a child. If we cannot do that, let us not. So thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. It's just a pleasure being here. Thanks so much.
Excellent.
Thank you, Dr.
Nice,
Kavita. Thank you, Dr. Kavita. I think your metaphor of the, spilled coffee struck a chord with us about do not magnify your problems, do not allow negativity bias to ensure your suffering, consciously choose to have positive events in life, never judge a child, always nurture the child early and increase their sense of self-worth and self-esteem. I think all of those points really made a marked, impeccable impact in every one of us. And I think we will ensure that we take that in all our life, educating our children. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Having heard Dr. Kavita's viewpoints on mental health and its importance, let's go to the next dimension, which is nurture them small, catch them young, and inspire them big. And who better to do it than a teacher who grooms kids and young adults? Let us now hear to Qadir Khan, the academic head of Green Valley Group of Institutions, and a science teacher with a passion to share and care, especially because he thinks it will make a difference on how teaching methods can be used to promote health and hygiene in schools. Over to you, Mr. Qadir Khan.
Yes. Thank you, sir. And a very good evening to all Utsahins. I'm here to talk on a topic of practice of health and hygiene in school, that is in education. And the tagline for this is given by us as health gives happiness. The tagline what we have, health gives happiness, are in schools we are justifying this. That's my personal question on that. Are we justifying the tag of health gives?
Because when the lunch break, say, in lunch break, we are just concentrating whether the student in each and every school, we are seeing whether the lunch box they are having, they're eating up or not, right from the LKG to the primary level. But are we concentrating on the total from lower classes to higher classes, that what we have to do for these children? Are we having a proper chart of lunch? Are we having a proper curriculum of food? How we have in government, in Australia, we have a separate curriculum for food safety and measures. We have a separate curriculum where it says that, yes, this is a part of vegetable, this is a part of fruit, this they have to have every day. Are we doing this in our schools? Possibly, I can say that only 2 to 3% we are following. Then how is the health will be happier? How will the health, the concentration of kid will increase? The simple example I want to share, a daily life example which I experienced in context of health and hygiene. Around 3 to 4 years back, there was a student in the school named as Gautam. He was studying in 4th standard that time. That child does not write properly, does not read properly, but he's very active. Activeness is there, but coming to class, he's not concentrating. He's just scratching it. When in parent-teachers meeting also, teachers used to inform, please make him work. He's very dull. He's a slow learner actually. But what is the reason? The actual reason was the child started when I spoke with him personally, what is happening to you? The thing is, the parents used to say, whatever, we are giving everything to our child. We are, whatever food, everything we are giving, but he's not active. He becomes dull. He's very tired. Then I asked the parent, what is the food thing you're following, breakfast, lunch and dinner? To be in shock, the first thing the parent said, early morning, we don't have time actually to concentrate what a child is doing, because early morning we have to see the business and my wife has to go for another work. So we are just, within 2-3 minutes, we are preparing noodles. We are preparing noodles for the child and giving for him for breakfast. And in afternoon, the driver is sending biryani from Ambur. Because my child loves biryani, he's eating biryani daily in afternoon, that too from a hotel from Ambur. And what happens to in evening? The evening thing, what he said is, because we are coming together, we'll be very tired, we are not spending time with the child. So they take the whole family for dinner every night outside. Now, here comes the thing. Where is the food? Where is the healthy food we are giving to our children? We are saying junk foods for chips, this other thing, chocolates. What about the food we are giving? Like, to save the time, we are going towards noodles. We are going towards all the time where the time should be saved for us. But what about the health of the child? This is practically happened. Then I had to talk to parents. I had to make them understand, saying this is not the way. Let us change the way for a few days. So first, it took a lot of time and a lot of effort just to change the style of breakfast for the child. He was not happy with the normal chapati or roti or any bread. No, he was addicted to noodles. Once the state started changing breakfast, lunch and in dinner, It took nearly around 1.5 years for us to change the lifestyle of this student. Because of this student, we had to change the lifestyle of whole school students. Then we concentrated everywhere, thinking,
what has happened? What is the food they are following? We started to prepare a chart. A chart was prepared, like rainbows. Small children used to like coloring, primary children. We can prepare a chart stating the colors of the 7 colors of the rainbow, and we inform them whichever color vegetable, whichever color fruit you are eating in the break, they have to color that day and get the sign from the teacher. And in 1 week, whoever fills that 7 colors with vegetables and fruits, they were declared winners. We appreciate by giving small prizes.
There's other things what as a school management, we have to first promote our teachers. Why? Because what a teacher does in school, what a teacher follows in school is easily catched up by the kids, and they follow this. Because kids definitely will follow teachers. Whatever happens, if they like the teacher, whether he's standing, whether he's walking, whatever he's saying,
They are listening rather than what parents are saying, they are not listening. So what happens is, this state we have to change completely, and the curriculum should be based on health and hygiene. Why? Because every child, we have to encourage them. Every child should be encouraged. Every child should be encouraged right from the level of LKG to higher classes about health and hygiene. Small things are there to be concerned. Example, a child is having a headache. So what we do, definitely we say them to please lay down for 2 minutes. And in urgency, we are not seeing that whether the child is lying down on the floor or on the bed or in the nursing room. That should be concentrated, because small things, even if the child sleeps on the floor, they'll have a lot of cold. The health will deteriorate, but day by day, one by one. The concentration, if the child is more addicted to all junk foods, how his concentration will increase, how the immune system will work properly. If there is no proper working of immune system in the child, there is no question of concentration at all. And we are dividing the child in saying that he's a slow learner, he's a dull student, and he's an excellent student. Why? Because lack of interest. Why this lack of interest comes? Because lack of nutrition. First, our schools have to promote nutritional facts in the schools compulsorily. We have to have a nutritional chart, whether we can have instead of break, we can have a vegetable break. We say in morning a 10-minute break for students. We can have in morning 10 minutes vegetable break. In afternoon, after lunch break, we can have an evening break, snacks break, we say. In evening, we can have a fruit break, where we can make it compulsory that this is the vegetable you have to have as a snack. If teachers follow this, students will definitely follow this. Health and hygiene, it entirely depends on school management and teachers. If they are going hand to hand together with proper coordination, then definitely we can say no child will be dull, no child will be a slow learner at all. Now coming to my next thing, washing hands. Now, what we do at parents at home, what we do, we just say we are just watching our kid going out, he's playing, coming inside the home. Again, we just say orally, please wash the hands. Let us teach him first how to wash the hands. Let us make a habit for him. In school also, let us make a habit. As soon as they enter the school, they're having snacks. So let them wash the hands properly. If they wash the hands, what is the best example we can say? Like example, for a small child, if I want to say, how should I convey this message to him? I can convey by painting my hand and calling the child, say this, I have painted on your hand. After painting, I'll say him to go and stick on the wall. Definitely that paint will be there in all the walls. I should call him and say, see, these are the germs. It is spreading from one place to another. It is spreading from one, can you see the wall? It has spread everywhere. Similarly, germs also spread everywhere if we are not healthy. Please wash your hands properly. And for this, our government of India also started Fit India movement. That is on August 29, 2019. How many of us are following in the school this is Fit India movement, Fit India Week, Health Week? And moreover, we are small things we are missing out. What are we missing out? Like physical education classes. They are very important classes for health and hygiene of a child. What are we doing this with physical education? We are just concentrating, oh, government has said us, let us do this as an exam. We have a theory of exam for higher classes of physical education. 8, 9, 10. So what about lower classes? A physical education teacher can change a child's physical activities as well as mental health. If he wants, he or she can do anything. So teachers, I request all the teachers, including physical education teachers, please concentrate on health and hygienic factors of children. Their food, what are they doing? Please prepare, I request all the school management to have a vegetable break, a fruit break. Let us go with a proper curriculum of food for children, where everything goes fine. Definitely, if health is good, each child of the school will be an excellent professional when he goes out of the school. Let us make his health better. Let us make his concentration better. Then let us think about results. If you are only thinking about results, definitely they will have proper concentration. Why? Because if you are only thinking about results, the health will deteriorate in each and every student. They stop eating food. Even right now also in 11, 12 standard of classes, if you can see, they are studying 24 hours. When a parent go and ask them to have food, they are not having the food properly. Where is the nutrition for them? They are the future doctors. They are the future engineers. They are the future prime ministers. If they are like this, then how will the country develop? For this, I want to end today's speech, today's health and hygiene. I just request all of them to please, school management and teachers, help our children so that they can be and they can have a healthy future for them, and they can build their own future as well as develop a nation. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Thank you. Thank you, Kadir Khan ji, for helping us understand how the school lunch breaks can actually act as food and curriculum and balanced diet breaks, and how teachers and school administrations have very important role of monitoring the children, their health habits, their hygiene habits, how they wash their hands, what kind of food they eat, and definitely mentor them and their parents about staying away from junk food, fast food, etc. I think those are quite a few helpful tips, along with the innovative ideas of the rainbow colored vegetables every day. I think all of those are really good ideas that teachers can come up with. Similar ideas would help every one of our children to build better hygiene and health habits. With that, let's now focus on our third speaker of the day, Prajita. Prajita is a nursing professional, and apart from excellence in caregiving, she's also been a nursing trainer, one who mentors other nurses of the future to a service-oriented attitude that brings excellence amongst caregivers. So let's hear from Prajita on the physical dimensions of health and hygiene and her viewpoints. Over to you, Ma'am Prajita.
Ma'am, you're on mute.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to all. I express my sincere gratitude for inviting me to this platform and for giving me an opportunity to talk. So here I would like to bring about certain points to be discussed on the topic, the practicability of health and hygiene in education. So as to my practical knowledge, I feel health and hygiene is one of the important aspects when concerned with a person of any age. Let take an infant, or it may be an elderly, or it may be a middle-aged person. Whatever it is, the health he maintains, the hygiene he maintains himself. According to World Health Organization, the health is defined as it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not only social well-being, and not merely in the absence of disease or infirmity. That is, having a sound body and mind is an indication of good health. So I would like to bring certain examples from my arena, from my field of experience. While I was working in Saudi, in hospital, in the department of dialysis, where I used to see the patient who comes for dialysis. And when we think about the patient with dialysis, we know that that the dialysis is that artificially the functions of kidney is being done by dialysis machine or with the help of a dialyzer. In such circumstances, while we are connecting a patient to a dialyzer, you have to create an access. It can be a fistula that is made between an artery and vein for dialysis, or it can be a catheter or anything. So while it being done, once it is matured, once we are started to using that catheter, you have to see that how much it is well maintained, or the steps that how to take to prevent it is infected. It is very important part in the case of in the case of from the side of health worker as well as the patient. He should maintain a very meticulous care that is to prevent infection for that AV fistula or that access. So the healthy thing, whatever he puts into maintain the hygiene of the fistula, it is very important while we're treating that patient. So it is very important while you are treating a patient. While we teach the arena of education, or while we teach your students or coming to the arena of education, the thing is that you have to maintain the practicability. Though you are teaching so many things in theory, you have to make them feel and understand to what extent you can take precaution to prevent infection. Like some other circumstances would like to discuss about the postnatal period. Like the postnatal period, that is the period, the first 6 weeks after the childbirth, is very critical to health and survival of mother and baby, the newborn. And this period is very vulnerable for the for mother. And since she is more prone, because she is more prone to get infection, to neglecting to provide like hygienic care for the mother during this time will increase the chance of infection in both mother and child. So so postnatal hygiene is applicable not only to the mother but also for the people around her, that is who are caring for her and the child. So there also you have to see that the health of the baby and the mother is being maintained such a way that they don't have any complication. Not only infection, there are so many other factors, that psychological factor, which can affect the mother. There are mainly 5 aspects or dimensions of personal health, like physical, emotional, social, spiritual, and intellectual. We all know that these all are interrelated. Any change of one that can that affect the other. So that you have to give focus on teaching your students regarding what all you have to mainly think about while we are care for a postnatal mother or a newborn baby. Another thing I want to say that the health practices among the children. We all know that it is very precious and precious time. So so the parents are a major influence on their children's practices, children's hygiene practices. This is especially so when it comes to the frequency of bathing, oral care, the time of bath, etc. When the child enters adolescence, their personal hygiene habits may change as they because as they start to socialize with peer groups. However, it should be noted that if poor hygiene practices during childhood have a negative social effect for the child, who would then have less opportunity to learn and form new habits instead. And also I think that provide children with the basic first aid knowledge that's required for a first aid emergency. like few examples, like when children are old enough to know number, teach them to make calls, make sure that they know what numbers are to be dealt in an emergency and how to reach you. For example, national emergency number like 112, 100, police control loop, like that. Then, or teach children that applying mild pressure on the wound will help to stop bleeding. Or how to cool a burn by running burned skin under cool water. Or if your child has a fall and has bruised his leg or his or her leg, let them to know what happened to them and how applying an ice pack will help. So explain.
Excuse me, Prijita, could you please, conclude it, please, with this example?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, why so much? Even now, we all are facing like COVID-19 pandemic as root shock revealing widespread disregard for hygiene and cleanliness practices prevalent in all over the world. So the quarantine has taught us the invaluable health and hygiene lessons. And also it forces to look at other disgusting problems, disgusting hygienic problems such as like a bad breath, body odor, like nail biting, nose picking, that go unchallenged more often than not. Like so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Prajita.
Prijita, it was nice. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Keeping to the time, we really thank you for speaking about health, cleanliness, and importance in avoiding infections in invasive procedures, neonatal care, midwifery, and how parents can build in their children importance of oral hygiene, physical hygiene, personal grooming, awareness of emergency numbers. Thank you for all those useful tips, Prajita. With that, I think we really had a multi-dimensional look at different dimensions of health and hygiene in real life in association with our tagline of health brings happiness. I'm sure the ideas have inspired each of us to go and, spread these ideas further amongst our children and amongst our society and spheres of influence. Thank you once again to all the speakers. Back to the master of the ceremony for the rest of the proceeds.
Thank you, Anirban sir, for such wonderful segment. Now it's time for another exciting segment of today's session, Inspirational Talks. To facilitate the discussion, I would like to welcome our Utsahin Yashwant. Yashwant, over to you.
Thank you so much, Charan. Am I audible?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. It's raining heavily in Hyderabad and the showers of inspiration in Utsahin is going to continue. Welcome to IPL, Inspirational Stories from Personal Lives of Utsahins. I'm sure you all are waiting to hear them and witness the rainbow they have experienced. Let me introduce the first speaker, Mr. Ashok Reddy. With over 2 decades of experience in finance, his career spanning over different MNCs, visionary, and he aims at building a university which is future ready for the students. His passion is to connect academics to industry. He believes in what goes around comes around, the law of karma. With this, let me welcome Mr. Ashok Reddy to take over the segment. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Utsahins. My name is Ashok. So I did my schooling all from government schools like Railway School, Railway Junior College, Railway Degree College, and ultimately I did my PG from Osmania University. So one fine day I was going to an interview in Bank of America. It was HR sitting in front of me and she was asking me, tell about yourself. So I never had a session like that when people were asking. So I was clueless what I need to say. I was quiet for 1 minute. Then I realized I need to speak. She comforted giving me a glass of water. I had that glass of water. And she told me, okay, you have come for an interview, then just give it a try. Whether it's workouts with you or not. I thought, okay, let me give it a try. So, but fortunately, she considered me for the job. Do you know why? And the reason behind that is, it's the domain knowledge and and the attitude. Coming to my communication, I would say it was zero at that particular point of time. But what I realized after joining there is what I am learning here and what we would be working in the industry are completely different, because what we are learning is generation 0 and what we would be going maybe generation 12 kind of thing, where we have to upgrade ourselves with all the upgraded information. And what we realized whenever we were conducting interviews also to all the people are not having that knowledge of practical knowledge. So it's all about marks. So then what we realized, okay, from corporate, like after working in Bankam, UBS, HSBC, after having a stint of 17 plus years experience in industry, then I thought it's better to move to academics, so that if we can bring in that innovation in academics, definitely we can see a development in our nation. Maybe I'll also like to give a short story about, I've been to Singapore once, because they got independence after we got, that is after 17 years. It is in 1965. But at that point of time, the country was in a pathetic situation. Even Malaysia disowned it. But just because of the leader and his thought process, even they did not have anything, they were able to make it to the top countries, even though it's like a twin cities. But people in the world map recognizes Singapore as a big economy. Now what we thought is, why don't we also change this one? So charity should always start from home. So from Adya, like we have started, so beginning of dynamic education, what exactly we need to do. So as per the learning pyramid, the lecture gives 5%. Even when we know that lecture gives only 5%, still we are following that one. So the success rate with after student rate, it's 10%. After like you go with other things like audio visuals 15%, demonstration 35%. So these are all passive teaching methodologies. Now what are active teaching methodologies which make a student involved into the subject? That is group discussions, teachbacks and presentations. So when I was quoting that I got a job just because of my knowledge, it's not because I was very good with my subject. My teacher used to ensure that whatever I'm teaching in my intermediate and graduation days, he wants me to teach the other students. So that is what I learned, that teachbacks are the better option to learn things better in a better manner. Then what we are imbibing the same practices here. Let's go with the active teaching methodologies. We are taking a sample size where we are involving people to the greater extent, where they are doing the group discussion, where they are developing the content. So by this, what I would like to conclude saying that to ensure that our nation is being developed, we need to develop the society, we need to develop the youth, we need to develop the education system. So the only reason why I am in Utsahin, because we have a lot of like-minded people who want to develop the society, especially to the field of education. So the tagline as it goes, the same thing, educating minds. So that is what we want to do, enlighten everyone with this one. So maybe I'm starting with it. Maybe it's just the nascent stage, but I am sure that I will take it to the next level of you people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ashok sir. This reminds me of the quote, the best way to learn is through teach. And this teachbacks and the research methodology that you are using in teaching and the learning experience is wonderful, sir. All the best. And with this, I would like to introduce the second speaker of the day. She's an engineer by qualification and a teacher by profession. She is currently the academic coordinator with AHPS Miapur. Her philosophy is to be a teacher who inspires a child and not just who teaches a child. And she is a continuous learner as well. With this, I would like to welcome Ms. Prasanna Garu to take over the segment. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ash, for the lovely introduction. Good evening, everybody here. Firstly, I am extremely privileged to be a part of this unique platform. I would like to say a few words about myself. I completed my engineering from Kakatiya University and MBA from ICFA University. I am a mother of two and I was a homemaker by choice till both my sons completed their schooling. And my passion is teaching. I started my career as a part-time teacher 4 years ago at the age of 38, and now I am working as an academic coordinator for AHPS Miapur. I wouldn't say that my journey was a big struggle, but I had my fair share of challenges. When I first said I wanted to become a teacher, two questions were shot at me. Why teaching and why now? My answer would be like, teaching is part of my genes. Both my grandfathers are teachers, and I have already taught 2 teenagers at home. So why not teach a few more? So with that passion, I started as a teacher, but I realized when I joined a school that it is a lot different teaching 2 kids at the safe environment of a home and teaching a multi-talented or multi-background and multi-different mentalities children in a school. So I had to learn a lot. I struggled. I changed myself. I became a better person. After a few months into my teaching, I was asked to teach English, which was not my subject. My subject is science. So now it sounds very silly, but I was scared because when I learned there were no 11 types of pronouns. Then I had to learn again. I learned English grammar from my children just to teach my children in school. Then after a year, when I joined another school, it is totally technology based. So I had to learn a lot of technology. I had to learn to make a PPT. I had to learn, I use a system every single day. I even learned to operate a Xerox machine. I was just getting comfortable with the use of technology and then started the Corona phase. Now everything is in technology. Now I am still learning every single day. I am learning to use all the apps. I am learning to teach online. In fact, I can say now that I'm running an entire school sitting at my home. So one thing I understood from this small little success, whatever I achieved, is that happened because I never hesitated to ask and learn. I always believed that being a teacher, I will be challenged every single day with a new task, and that will only make me a better person. So all my teachers there, I wish to say only one thing. It is not bad to not knowing, but it is a big mistake if you're not ready to learn. So when my team asked me to speak and inspire, actually I did not know what to say. So I decided I will share my inspiration, but I could not point at a single thing. So I made a list. So I was inspired. As everybody, my first inspiration are my parents. Then I was inspired by my teacher who taught me the story of Vivekananda. I actually do not remember the lesson, but I remember only 2 lines she has said. That don't expect anything in return for what you do. Because when you have expectations, you will not even enjoy the result, even if it is better than your expectations. So that I remember. Then my next inspiration when I started teaching is a 10th standard child who told me while leaving school that, ma'am, I may not remember the subject you taught me, but I will definitely remember the values you gave me. Then my inspiration is I drew a lot of inspiration from my husband when he said that I am working for money already. Why should you? Just pursue your passion. Then I am inspired by my children who unconditionally help me whenever I need. Even in the speech, they have helped me prepare it. Then I took inspiration from all the people around me. I still take inspiration from my colleagues, my teachers who are still working very hard despite the numerous challenges we have now. Then I take inspiration from the wonderful Utsahins I'm a part of now. So having said all these things, with my little journey, one thing I understood is that life will always give you so many chances, so many opportunities, but you have to find your own inspiration because no one else can do it for you. So I hope everybody finds your inspiration. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thank you for listening to me. Over to Sai Charan.
Yashwant.
Sorry, Yashwant.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. While you have a list of people from whom you have been inspired, we definitely have inspired by your continuous learning. There is a saying telling learning includes learning, unlearning, and relearning. So you have the hunger to learn, the willingness to unlearn, and the appetite to relearn. Surely your journey has inspired us a lot. Thank you so much, Ashok Reddy sir and Prasanna ma'am, for the valuable talks. With this, I would like to hand over the segment to Raghuram sir. Would you like to have comments on this? Sai sir.
All right, that's actually coming from the way from Charan, and I will because it did. Thank you so much for this, and thank you so much for your speakers. And it was truly a wonderful time. I never, knew that in 1 hour's time we can get to a different world altogether. So what we have learned from this particular, session is knowledge of health and hygiene, tips and procedures not only teaches us about physical, mental, emotional, social, but also motivate us to improve and maintain our health, to prevent diseases and reduce the risk of life. Let us all create conditions that our speakers have suggested for a conducive, healthy living. Health education always enhances the quality of life. That's what we have learned out of our beautiful speakers. It was from different spheres of life. And let us all improve our quality of life. And as we always said, health gives happiness. And all the very best. Thank you so much. And I hand over to Charan for taking up the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raghuram sir, for giving the closing comments. And now I would like to welcome Nagaraju sir for sharing the vote of thanks.
Honorable dignitaries, our most valued invited guests, members and followers of Utsahin. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Utsahin Nagaraj, on behalf of Utsahin and its entire team, and on my own behalf, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to honorable speakers who have spared their precious time for us and graced this occasion with their inspirational talks. I must mention our deep sense of thanks and appreciation for Dr. K.C. Kavita Garu, who is known as the happiness woman, for her inspiring thoughts on our topic, practice of health and hygiene in education. Ma'am, we are inspired with your deriving of happiness from nature and starting a day with a positive attitude and giving a positive self-esteem and process of evaluation of the children who are our next generation. Thank you, ma'am. And we are grateful and thanks to Mr. Kadir Khan Garu, Academic Head, Green Valley Group of Education. Sir, we are very inspired with the focusing, the importance and consciousness on healthy food and its importance, and the curriculum to be used to be based on the health and hygiene from the school stage. Thank you, sir. And I would like to express my gratitude and heartfelt thanks to kind-hearted human, Ms. Prajita Garu, nursing trainer. Thank you, ma'am. You have given the importance, the utmost importance of health for all ages and sign of indication of good health. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to express our sincere thanks to our Utsahin team member, Ashok Reddy Garu. Sir, thank you very much for you have preferred to bring innovations into the learning areas. Thank you, sir. I am also grateful and a big thanks to Prasanna ma'am, who is a valuable member of our team, who touches us with her warm and affectionate words. Thank you, ma'am, for giving you the importance of technology in the field of education. I am immensely thankful to Master of Ceremony, Mr. Sai Charan and Anirban Paul for their efforts towards anchoring today, their own ideas and elegance of explanation of everything. I need to mention my deepest sense of appreciation. Thank you very much. Behind every successful event, there lies the manifold attempts of a committed Utsahin executive team. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the immense contribution of our dedicated ET members, respectable Karunakar Garu, Sharan Garu, Anirban Paul Garu, Prasanna ma'am, Diksha ma'am, Aparna ma'am, Ramesh Reddy Garu, Ashok Reddy Garu, and all the ET members. I would like to extend my wholehearted gratitude towards our illustrious Ram Reddy Garu and Raghuram Garu, who are our inspiration, role models, and pillars of strength. Thank you, sir. Finally, our special thanks goes to our Utsahin members and the followers. I think you all benefited by our speakers. The success of every institution rests on love and support of its members and followers. We are indeed lucky to get your unconditional love and support. So thank you all so much from the deep of our heart. let us meet once again on October 18th, third Sunday. Once again, I repeat, October 18th, third Sunday, with more and more participation and with another interesting and educational topic. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nagaraju sir. What a great session filled with lots of inspiration and positive thoughts. Before ending the session, I would like to give a short glimpse about Utsahin. Utsahin, the Educating Minds, is a platform to foster collaboration, new perspectives, and professional growth for any industry. Like Nagaraju sir already said, we have such discussions every third Sunday. Like today, we had a topic from the domain health. We have topics from different domains like education, technology, sports, economics, ethics, science, and environment, etc. We also meet every Friday to discuss the plan, have a discussion on different aspects of education, and have a lot of idea sharing between the members. So please join us and let's join the like-minded people who can inspire and get inspired. And thank you everyone for joining us today. Now the time has come to successfully end our second session. I request everyone to stand for the national anthem.
So before stand, let us thank our broadcasting partner, TVAsia Telugu people. Thank you all. So let's stand for national anthem.
National anthem. Jai Hind.